to
Such
Social
a nasty
Security
woman.
Trust.
Nasty women are tough. Nasty women are smart. And nasty women vote.
America is still a great country, and it is still worth fighting for.
I'm not giving up, and neither should you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of Nasty Women Nation podcast. Once again, we have our usual ladies here. I'm Ray. We've got Wendy here also from Houston, both of us. We've got Aaron in Austin. We have Dex and Katie joining us from Colorado Springs. And we have Kara from Houston as well. So if you ladies want to collectively say hello.
Hi.
Hi. I love that. We've got some really good topics tonight because over the past couple of weeks, a lot of just ridiculous things have been happening in the world of politics, especially with our orange tangerine overlord. So let's just jump right in hardcore to Trump's cabinet of horrors, or also known as his cabinet appointments.
Or the Legion of Doom, as I like to call them.
Legion of Doom is a great name for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So, I mean, if you watched SNL last night, I think the best quote that I've heard so far was when they were joking about draining the swamp. And he's like, yes, we drained the swamp, and then all the toads and the frogs and whatever was mutated to survive is really what's making it into the cabinet. And that's kind of how it feels. So, Aaron, why don't we go to you first? What are your thoughts on some of Trump's cabinet appointments?
God, what can I even say? So, you know, I was talking with my husband about this, and basically, part of what really upsets me about this is that there are so many appointments that are basically, you know, outsiders, which is what he said he would do. But the thing is that these outsiders are basically the complete antithesis of what they've been appointed to. So we have, you know, let's see, God, who? Everybody. Secretary of Education, who basically has never really, whoa, sorry guys, never.
That was awesome.
And that's how we feel about Trump's cabinet.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, basically everybody he's appointed, it seems like, with the exception of a couple few, are there to serve their own interests and basically have no
qualifications,
I'm sorry, guys.
Skills, anything.
Yeah, they don't have. Yeah, and basically they're just going to serve their own interests, which is pretty much the opposite of what they've been appointed to. So, yeah, guys, I'm sorry. It's just looking at the list. I've got the list pulled up, and I just can't even begin to make any sense of it.
Yeah, it's really easy to look at the list, and you don't know whether you should just be laughing hysterically or crying with a lot of these names. Dex, Katie, what about you guys?
Okay, first of all, we've got a climate change denier going to be heading up the EPA. I mean, what the hell is it? He actually he has a lawsuit against the EPA right now.
So that's not going to be a problem.
No, that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And then Linda McMahon. I seriously, I can't with that woman. Okay. First of all, I watched wrestling for years when I was young, and just that whole family is just a joke for me to begin with. But just the fact that she's ran for Senate twice and lost, and really her only big contribution to politics that's, you know, she's actually held office for was like a school board member. You know, and I don't really even know what else she's done other than lose a Senate race twice. But yeah, that just makes no sense to me. It's just like, I don't know.
To be fair, she was pretty successful with the WWE.
Yeah.
So you
count as a small business? Like,
are we going to have like Stone Cold Steve Austin running the military? You know, because I'd be down for that. Honestly, that would be pretty funny. At least it would be entertaining. And at least Steve Austin can say that he actually did a Stone Cold Stunner on a president. So
There's that. I'd be okay with that. Yeah, we're basically seeing and we touched on this on the last podcast a little bit about, that it seemed like he was just picking names out of a hat or whatever, but he's picking top donors, he's picking generals, he's not necessarily picking people who are at all qualified for the jobs. Ben Carson. What do you know about HUD, son? Come on. This is
You lived in one. That's what.
Oh, Jesus.
Man, you're a brilliant brain surgeon, man, but that's it. You do not know anything about urban development, despite the fact that somebody was like, oh, well, he grew up in a bad part of town. This is exactly the same tone. Nothing's actually changed in the Trump campaign. This is the same tone of, oh, hey, I heard about the president once. I think I can be president of the U.S. All of these people that he's picking are people who are like, oh, yeah, I've seen that on TV somewhere. I bet you I could do that. That'd be great. But, yeah, Aaron said, there's no qualifications for it. There's no indication that they are going to do anything but serve their own damn interests rather than the interests of the people of the United States of America.
Well, you know what? I love that Trump's approach to his cabinet is basically the exact same approach he's taking to even his security briefings that he's supposed to, or intelligence briefings that he's supposed to be having on the daily. But he's like a smart person from what he says.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't need to hear that same thing over and over.
Which is, it's hilarious because again, it's the same thing that he's been quoted numerous times as criticizing Obama for not. Oh, he's out, vacationing and going to fundraisers instead of actually reading any of those security intelligence briefings that he should be doing. And then here he is. I only need it once a week, guys. Once a week. It's the same stuff. Nothing changes. So, yeah.
I've got a rally to go to for everybody to cheer for me.
Woo! That was my cheer.
Those sounded like they were going really well, by the way.
Kara, what are your thoughts on the best and the brightest in Trump's cabinet?
Best and the brightest. God help us. So, okay. Senator Claire McCaskill, who is amazing, Democratic senator from Missouri, she said that she's calling it the 3G cabinet, and it's totally accurate. Goldman, generals, and gazillionaires.
Mm-hmm.
That totally wraps it up, which I like better than Trump just says my generals, which is completely frightening. When he says, oh, my generals, I've got my great generals, and I'm like, he's gonna just there's gonna be a military coup under Trump. That's what's gonna happen. That's great. But because it kind of gets more just mind-boggling as we go along. We had the education secretary who has never attended a public school, and neither have her children. And now he's got, of course, the EPA guy who is suing the EPA. And now he's looking at possibly naming a Secretary of State, or at least at the point that we're recording this, he hasn't actually named him, but he is close to picking his Secretary of State. And the rumor is it's going to be ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson. What are you doing? This is supposed to be the person who, maintains relationships with other nations, and you're picking the ExxonMobil CEO?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It just blows
great relations with Russia, though.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing, is that he's got,
I feel like
Yeah, of course, it's great.
I really feel like he went on Russia's Facebook page and then went and looked at mutual friends and then just started picking from there.
People you may know.
It's just so frightening, and it makes absolutely... I feel like every cabinet pick has been more baffling than the last, to the point where I'm just like, this is... I'm done. There's no point. This is... Our country is over.
Well, that was uplifting. Wendy, how do you feel about that?
Sorry.
Yeah, the current cabinet nominations... I think Stephen King had the best name for this group of people he posted earlier that Trump's proposed cabinet is the worst in American history, a motley crew of plunder monkeys. And I think that pretty much sums it up. I mean, talking about Rex Tillerson, and Vladimir Putin owns the largest oil company in Russia. And at one point, Rex Tillerson had a $500 billion deal between ExxonMobil and Vladimir Putin's company, which was blocked by the Obama administration through sanctions. And so I'm sure that none of that has anything to do with any of these nominations or our rapidly emerging close ties with Russia, especially that whole election rigging thing. Yeah, I think everybody else has addressed the frightening tendency toward nominating the person who is most against whatever it is that they're going to be leading, with the agriculture secretary hasn't had anything to do with any kind of agriculture ever. Interior Secretary Kathy Rogers, a representative from Washington. I think the only thing she's ever done has been being a representative from Washington. So I don't really think that there's a lot of experience going on there. Really, yeah. Plunder monkeys. I think everybody's in it for themselves.
Yeah. Well, and even her experience, she voted for the Native American Energy Act, which would have made it easier to drill in tribal territories.
Yeah.
So, well, holy shit.
What's exciting about this is we made it through this whole cabinet without even with the name Steve Bannon coming up once.
Because that's a given.
Nobody wants to say it.
Nobody. I'm sorry.
Say it more times. He just shows up.
I mean, he literally every picture.
Waving his little Nazi flag all over.
Every picture that I have seen of him anywhere literally looks like he should be on a street corner somewhere with a sign begging for change.
Right?
I saw one picture that had the caption, "This guy looks like the guy who caught some deadly plague on the, away mission and doesn't tell his teammates about it and of course jeopardizes
He's the outbreak monkey.
He is the outbreak monkey. There we go.
Oh, fair enough. Well,
he got by the zombie and he's trying to pretend like everything's okay.
I'm fine.
Oh, damn it, Steve.
Ignore the pus that's dripping everywhere.
Oh, God help us. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, I really would love to know what Trump is thinking. Actually, I don't think he thinks much. I mean, I think he just does what other people tell him to do at this point. So, which kind of brings us to our next topic of course, the CIA has come out saying that the Russian government definitely was tampering with the election in order to help Trump win the election. And I think the actual quote is, "It is the assessment of the intelligence community that Russia's goal here was to favor one candidate over the other to get Trump elected." Well, that's fantastic. And I'm actually, it's popping up all over a lot of left, wing sites. I wish I was seeing it more and more on some of the bigger sites. Because to me, it's kind of scary as hell. But, hopefully to the rest of the country, it's also scary. Kara, let's start with you.
I mean, I feel like it's like a no-brainer. Like, that's terrifying. And I do feel good knowing that at least there is a bipartisan effort to have it looked into. I never thought that I would be agreeing with or supporting John McCain or Lindsey Graham.
Oh, yeah.
But here I am, and it's happening.
Welcome to 2016.
I know, the world is upside down, but I've kind of had, I hate to say I've been a conspiracy theorist about this from the start, but I've definitely for weeks been like, I really think something's going on. I really think there was a Russian tie with this, which I already felt that way about WikiLeaks and whatnot. I feel like they're leaking the things that they want us to see, that was very intentional, the stuff that was being put out, because no one was going in and hacking Donald Trump's email. I'm sure we find all kinds of goodness there.
Mostly porn.
We haven't heard a damn thing from WikiLeaks since the election.
I know.
Yeah.
So
well, didn't Ecuador cut off his internet?
They did at one point, but I've seen him tweet a couple of times, so I'm pretty sure he's back up and running.
Okay, I thought he might still be grounded there in the embassy.
Yeah, but I feel really good knowing that there are at least some elected officials who seem to give a damn.